Social network advertising. Not social networks. How big can social networks get? They'll be through 1 billion people. They will serve trillions. It's not a mistake on my part. I didn't say billions. Trillions of advertisements this year. But it's really hard to see this chart at the back of the room. The blue bars are Google's global revenues. The little green one that is very, very hard to see is Facebook's revenues. Hey, Facebook's doing great. Hugely successful company, enormous hundreds and hundreds of % growth. But the question that everybody's asking is, Facebook, are social networks the next Google, the next search? Well, Google's going to have revenues of about $30 billion this year. Okay? Could Facebook, could any social network get to $30 billion on advertising? Well, let's kind of work through the math. On this slide, you can see that there's the revenue ramp for all social networks worldwide are only going to be from sort of 4 to 5.5 billion this year. That's great. 5.5 billion is a lot of money. It's not quite 30 billion yet. Can they get to 30 billion? They're not there now. Maybe they can get there next year or the year after. Well, there's a slight problem. Many of you are going to be in the telecom world, and you're going to be familiar that when you analyze a wireless stock, you talk about something called ARPU, average revenue per user. And most wireless companies in Canada and US get between $30, $40, $50 of ARPU per month. They make $300, $400, $500 in fees per year out of their customers. Social networks, on the other hand, have an ARPU, you can see it there in advertising, of around $2.50 or $3 per year. $3 per year. I make $3 per year, and I want to be Google. Okay, I can do that, I can do that. All I need is 10 billion users. I hope you've spotted the very slight problem here that there are only 7 billion people on the planet, and getting to 150% penetration is going to be difficult. It's not looking really, really great at this point for them to match it from advertising alone. Now, are there other things they could do, like in-game transactions? Could you become some sort of platform? Could you become some sort of currency? Yes. And social networks and Facebook are talking about doing all those things. The point we're making is that many people are running around saying Facebook is changing the world of advertising. Traditional media, online media, advertising is dead because Facebook is doing so well. They're doing well. They got 27% of online ad display. But that 27% is at a 55 cent CPM. Their revenues globally are $5 billion. That's less than 1% of global ad revenues. If you're worried about the ad business being destroyed, can you call me back when it hits 10%, not 1? It's a phenomena. It's an incredible phenomena, but at this point, it is primarily a phenomena about market share at very, very, very low prices. However, there is an interesting question that comes out of this that I want to explore just for 2 more minutes, and then we have questions. I'm going to start with the Washington Monument. I hope you're confused. You're supposed to be confused. See that little thing at the top of the Washington Monument, built in 1888? Does anybody know what that's made out of? It's made, sorry? Aluminum. I'd say t-shirts to all, but too many people got it right. In 1888, they made the top of the Washington Monument not out of gold, not out of silver, not out of platinum, but out of aluminum, because the United States had just come up with the process of casting aluminum and manufacturing aluminum in volume. It was a sign of innovation and progress, and my gosh, it was expensive. It cost $280 for them to buy that little tiny pyramid, which in today's value is worth about $250 per kilo. Now, you're in Quebec. I assume all of you have a real-time ticker of aluminum prices. Aluminum's trading for about $2 a kilo today. Even though we use 1 million times as much aluminum today as we did back in 1888, the price has fallen 99%. That makes no sense. When the price falls, it's because nobody wants it. It's not because everybody wants it, right? It isn't just about the demand for a product. It's about the marginal cost of production. It is much, much cheaper to make aluminum today than it was 130 years ago. So, when I talk about social networking, I want to close on this slide and ask the question, everybody here, who here's on Facebook, please? Facebook? Who here plays Farmville on Facebook? No, sorry, let me rephrase that. Who here is stupid enough to admit in public that they play Farmville? I see hands, I love you people. If you haven't played Farmville, you have a virtual farm. You build your virtual farm with virtual pigs and virtual cows, and it doesn't cost you any money. But if you want to do really well, you have to buy virtual hay for your virtual cows and your virtual pigs. And you pay for your virtual hay with real money. You pay real dollars on iTunes or whatever, and they take money out of your bank account, and you buy virtual hay for your virtual pigs, and it's all very good. I am so excited. Look at this. 50% off. I can buy twice as much virtual hay for the same money. I'm thrilled. I'm a consumer. I'm buying twice as much hay. I get good value. I'm excited. When manufacturers hold 50% off sales, usually they don't make as much money. I have a theoretical question for my Montreal audience. When Zynga or Facebook sells virtual hay for 50% off, their gross margin goes from 100% to what? Okay, and if they sell it for 75% off, what does their margin go to? 100%. If they sell it for 99% off, they still make 100% gross margin. Presumably, there is some point at which the cost of buying the additional servers actually starts showing up. But broadly speaking, selling virtual hay on Farmville is an 100% gross margin business all the time. So I will ask you the following question. What is Facebook's cost for manufacturing one additional display ad served directly to a 46-year-old Toronto man who's interested in pig feet and running, not at the same time? What's their cost to do so? 0. Therefore, if they serve 2 trillion ads this year, and next year they serve 4 trillion, what does their cost do? Nothing. 100%. Every single time. That's why Facebook, with revenues the same size Google's were when Google went public in August of 2004, that is why Facebook's profits are double what Google's were. And Google was not an unprofitable. The reason I am posing this question is that there are 2 reasons why people are arguing that social networks are getting 55-cent CPMs. One view is that it's because the ads aren't very good. They're low quality, people don't click on them. When people are on Facebook, they want to look at pictures of their friends, they don't want to buy things. The other view is that Facebook's cost of manufacture is 0, and they will continue selling ads for 55 CPMs, and 50 cent, and 40 cent, and 30 cent, and 20 cent, because they make money no matter how many they sell, and no matter what price they get. Deloitte doesn't have the answer to that yet, but it's an interesting question to think about.